Well, this particular piece resonated with me greatly, as being a community curator, part of the Power of Stories exhibition, because we don't often see a lot of images of sovereignty and royalty from an African perspective. And that really, as a black young person growing up when I came first to Suffolk, it would have been great to see that there were kings and queens in Africa. And I want to talk specifically about this piece because it's a royal Durbar, it's a royal celebration. And sometimes that could be an anniversary of a king or a queen mother. It could be a royal wedding. It could be a passing of someone great in the community. But in this particular case, it is the chief of the Dahomey community being part of a Durbar. And the Durbar, you might liken it to the Queen going out on her chariot with the horses and doing the greeting that she does. It's the same context from an African perspective. And the chiefs and the chieftesses and the kings and the queens were revered greatly because of the work they do. They do spiritual work, but they also do a lot of community work in their community in building their nations. And so for me, knowing that there's a whole processioning in of these kings and queens, and they are shielded from the sun with the parasols, the big umbrellas, was quite a spectacular thing. I mean, I myself have been part of a few Durbars in my time, and it was just so impressive because growing up in Suffolk as a young black person, I never saw anything like that. And coming from the Caribbean, I also never saw that image either. We have to understand how colonialism and racism and the whole slave Holocaust, I wouldn't say trade, has actually impacted on all of us in a sense of portraying a very negative light of Africa and using words such as primitive or backward or pagan and so on. And those things stay in our memory, stay in our psyche, but they're not true. And so part of this exhibition was actually talking the truth about our world history, not talking about white centrality, but talking about world history, that there were great contributions from people from all around the world that are second to none. It's just that sometimes those things are hidden or masked from us, or if they are projected, especially in museums and institutions, sometimes they are, the language is sometimes distorted a bit, so it suggests that it's second rate or primitive. Now this to me is an amazing sculpture because it shows sovereignty, it shows royalty, it shows regalness, it shows a strong community, a vibrant community. It shows that people have high respect for their leaders. That's something in my community that has been dismantled because, again, of racism. Sometimes we mistrust our leaders because we sometimes have internalized that racism that we experience. So that to me was quite profound because here is a leader, he is in a seat of a position. He's been given that seat or position by his community, and here you have the rest of the community hailing him and supporting him. And no, they're not seeing the person as greater than them, but they're seeing their position and their responsibility is great, and they're saying, we're going to encourage you, we're going to work with you to build. And that to me was really quite inspiring because I'm a leader in my community and always struggle sometimes to get that respect because of the things that sometimes being part of a minority in a mainstream community sometimes has its challenges. So for me, growing up here in Suffolk, why is this relevant? It's very relevant because if you have leadership qualities, if you have something that you desire to put right in the community, do it, just do it. But you need the backing of your people, your community, whether it's a local level, whether it's a school, a school level. If you have a spark of an idea, just do it. But you have to understand that you can't do it alone. You need like-minded people going to be supporting your idea and your vision and coming along with you. And that's what this represents to me, you know, royalty, sovereignty and leadership, which I encourage more leaders in Suffolk.